Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of G.M.E Reviews. I'm your host on this episode, Dragon Project. So today's episode is about Days Gone, and Days Gone it seems like a pretty slept-on game. For starters, let's talk about the story. So Days Gone has a good story. It's not groundbreaking, but it still came with a unique tale. In the beginning of Days Gone, I definitely felt like the main character, Deacon St. John, was a bit corny. Like, I was like, okay, here's this dude just riding around on his motorcycle, brooding, you know, being all upset. But by the end, it takes you through a journey of so much, right? Like, I don't want to get too much into it. I really kind of want to be as vague as possible, but I will say that I couldn't have predicted how the game went, which I enjoyed. That was greatly more connected to him, what he was searching for, how he, kind of the decisions that he made. Like, it all made sense, and it was unpredictable, which I greatly appreciated. And that's all it takes to me to make a game worth playing. And with this game, I didn't really know the way things were going to turn out, and I thought that was great. Some of the dialogue and the acting in it was actually very good.
Rippers. This morning, one of my men spotted a large group of them coming over the pass.
And no one stopped them.
How the Tucker, you know we're already spread thin.
Are they headed north? Al, are they headed towards us? Yes or no?
You would play Days Gone after you beat a really good game, and you're like, dang, like I really want to play something, but I don't really know what to play. There's nothing new out, and all the old games seem to be stuff that I've beaten. And I feel like this is one of those games to where it might have flown under the radar. The side missions were good, but they weren't great. I feel like in a game like this, what probably would have made it better would be if they were to include more in-game rendered cutscenes. They had a few. I'm not saying that they didn't have any. There's just something about learning about a character and being able to sit back and watch. I think that sometimes when they do the whole dialogue thing, like a lot of the times Deacon was riding around on his motorcycle, and there would be a dialogue sequence, and it's like on a radio, right? He's talking on the radio, but he's like yelling. It definitely could have been, I mean, not unless they fixed it, but that's something that you guys might come across, where you're on a motorcycle and he's just screaming at the top of his lungs, and you're like, why? You should be whispering right now.
That was a long time ago. They built the place up. They got more people.
We're all gonna fucking die.
We'll be long gone before anything like that happens. Camp's got the only dock in 100 miles. Now, Addie, just look.
If you're a real gamer, you have played some really terrible games, and this is not one of them. Graphically, the game was actually impressive. It had moments of visual beauty, like the maps, the terrain, the environment was great, but it felt almost like a mini map, right? Like, that it could be bigger, and it was huge too. Like, I'm not saying that it was small, but I think that they designed the levels for the motorcycle, which kind of made it feel odd, right? It's like there weren't any like long roads, right? Like, I was expecting when I was playing the game that it was going to be these like long roads that had stretches that I'd be able to drive on, and but it wasn't anything like that. It's a lot of windy twists and turns, which probably, I'm sure, they're designed so where you'd have more interactions with zombies and stuff. But it would have been nice to kind of have those kind of moments, because then you could have really been able to sit back and enjoy the scenery. But it was beautiful. It was beautiful in its own way. The gameplay was actually like one of the better parts, right? Like the zombie hordes, that was a real unique experience. I really am a big fan of State of Decay, and I think that State of Decay could take a few pages out of the Days Gone book when it comes to zombies, because the thing that Days Gone gives is a level of overwhelming, right? Like, when you play a game like State of Decay, the issue is that you almost feel like that they're making the game harder just for the sake of being harder, right? But if you were to play like a harder mode in Days Gone, Like it's like there seems to be even more zombies, or it just seems like more, you know. And even if you're just playing it normal, it gives you the vibe of like, dang, like this is a lot. Like I gotta strategize, you know. And as you progress, you know, you get better weapons and all this kind of stuff. You actually feel more in depth to and take out those hordes, right? Like I remember before when I first started, like it was kind of like, oh man, I'm literally just gonna avoid these things. Like there's no way I can take them out. To where like in the middle of the game, like I was like, okay, if I must, I got to take this out. But by the end of it, I was like, all right, like I've got my strategy, I got my weapons, you know, let's do this. And that felt really good, and it felt good because it was a challenge. Every horde, like all the hordes, felt like a real deep challenge, and I think that's one of the things that this game does exceptionally well. And it does it so well to where it almost could have been an online game. Like I said, like when it comes to State of Decay, like I feel like this is something that State of Decay like should, this is what it I don't say should be like, but they should really take a lot of notes from it in regards to like the zombie mechanics that would make that game better. But I digress. The graphics for Days Gone was great. I think it's one of the best kind of zombie games out right now. I haven't played World War Z or any of that, but like, yeah, I think that Days Gone is pretty solid as far as like the hordes and like the, you know, the tension, you know, or at least that kind of like maximum action violence tension, you know, not necessarily like a Last of Us, like a creeping scary kind, but more so like a oh, there's a lot going on kind. So yeah, it did a really good job. So Days Gone is not perfect. Like I really just want to be explicit in that it definitely has, when I played it, there were some glitches, and I think one of the bigger things that kind of came up for me, and I read this also too after I beat it, was the loading screen. It just felt bland. Or it'd be crazy intense moment, loading screen, cutscene, then loading screen, then back to the real world. And I don't know, I felt it did feel dated. Like, I'm not gonna lie, there were definitely moments where I was like, it's kind of boring. It takes you out, right? With those breaks, you just got disconnected, especially in this time now, right? Where a lot of the in-game cutscenes are, you literally, after you walk out the door, you're playing the game. Call of Duty does that extremely well. These cutscenes in their in-game, and then you roll out of something or explosion happens, and then you get up, and then the mission starts. You know what I'm saying? Like they even do it in their multiplayer, which is pretty amazing. But is that a deal breaker? No, it's not at all. Like it's just the way that old games used to be. And so like I don't really like when I see stuff like that, it's not necessarily like, oh, this is a deal breaker, I hate this game. No, I mean, I just love to play for the experience, you know. Like rarely, honestly, are there games that I'm like, damn, this is trash. You know, I think that for the most part, a lot of these games that come out are just experiences. You know, was it terrible? No. You know, this game was actually made with care, you know, which brings me to my conclusion, which is just that, you know, Days Gone is not the top pick. But if you're bored in this COVID time that we're in, and you just wanna, and there's, you know, we're all waiting for next gen, we're trying to see what's up with that, and yeah, you just want to play something, you just want to experience like a decent game, I do think that Days Gone would satisfy that, right? Like it's not the worst game. Is it the best game? No, but it's a game that has a decent story, has a lot of fun gameplay mechanics. Side quests and missions are standard, nothing too special, but overall it was an enjoyable experience, and I'm glad that I played it through. So yeah, definitely check it out. Take care and enjoy your day, and stay safe, everybody. Just for real, stay safe in these times. So yeah, and enjoy your day.
Swear to God, you got a death wish.
Like I said, not tonight.
Run, you stinking sons of bitches!